How much will these first couple weeks give you a chance to kind of just gauge what you have this year and what you have with this team?
Quite a bit. You know, the summertime was invaluable for us as a group. You know, spending more time around each other, practicing for our trip to Spain, and then being over there was a great experience. Obviously, it ended in a very troubling way, but I think for our players, basketball wise, they have a better grasp today overall than they would have if we didn't do that. And then I think we're 25 plus practices and 2 exhibition games in. Even the red-blue game adds to the experience. So I think for our guys, we're like a lot of college basketball teams, trying to improve, trying to get better. And clearly we've identified that we have some strengths. I think our ability to score at the 4 and the 5 together, especially between DeAndre and Dusan, is unique. There's not a lot of teams that have 2 low post scores like them. And DeAndre, I think, has proven he's also an excellent passer. So I think that's something we're excited about, able to build off of, teach our team to take advantage of that strength. I also think Alonzo Trier has really established himself as an All-American, as one of the best that's going to play at his position this year. He doesn't just score. He's more efficient than he ever has been. He's an improved defensive player. We continue to challenge him in that area, and he's made some great passes. He can play within the confines of the team game better than ever. So I'm excited for him as well. And I've said it time and time again. It would be great to have Alonzo from start to finish, from game 1 all the way through. And if he's able to do that, I think we're going to have an exceptional player and somebody who's going to put together a great season. So, many other things that we've talked about, which is our freshman class, the collective attitude of those guys. Each of them brings a lot of different things to the table, but I think as a group, they're very coachable, great teammates, willing to learn, work hard every day. I saw a great jump from game 1 to game 2. I know Brandon Randolph didn't play, but the other guys that did, they were all much better. And I think, again, that backs up what I say about those guys. They're learning, they're working hard every day to be better. And, the last point I'll make just overall about our team is Parker. Night and day difference with him out there versus not. You can't take away the fact that he's a senior, that he's somebody that's been a part of 4 teams and has been in a lot of big college basketball games, has worked hard. Like Alonzo, he's overcome injuries almost every year, and I think we're going to see the best version of him as a player. We did the other day. Just his ability to make the other 4 players better really, really stands out when you watch him out there. So I would say those are all the positives right now. And having said that, we have a long way to go as a group. All teams do at this stage.
Are you kind of anxious to get going finally? A regular game here after, like you said, you've been through a lot already.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're getting ready. We have to have a great week of practice. We were off yesterday. This is also academic week, I think, number 12. So we're really turning the bend here towards the end of the fall semester. We've been at it since late August. So, guys, they have a lot on their plate right now. To finish what they've done all semester, getting ready to get into final exams in probably the next couple of weeks, preparing for those, and just finishing up academically well. And then, simultaneously with that, then you have the beginning of real games, like you said, 2 games in 3 days in our case, where we play on Friday and Sunday. So the only thing we are not doing right now is the travel part of it. But I think this is an exciting time of year for our players, and also they have a lot going on.
You treat exhibitions like regular games, so does this game, is there anything, generally speaking, I don't know, do you expect any minor differences in the way you approach this strategy-wise?
No, we would do. We really try to use the 2 exhibition games as practice for a real game. We treat them as real games so that the players, whether it's game day shoot-around, how we approach scouting. You know, you don't have as much obviously at this time of year, but nonetheless, you want to make sure that you're as prepared as possible and prepare them. So it's more of the same for us, and you know, it's our season opener. You know, Jack Murphy is somebody that everybody here in Tucson knows well. You know, with his history with our program, really respect Jack as a coach, as a person. He's been a great friend to me and to our program, really from day one all the way until now. And it's always tough to play against somebody that you really like a lot and respect. But I'm excited about playing in AU because I think it's right on a lot of levels. You know, an in-state university and 2 in-state schools here from the state of Arizona get a chance to square off on the opening night of college basketball. So we're looking forward to the challenge. And like I said, today's Tuesday, so we have really 4 days to get ready. And hopefully we can improve and be at our best on Friday night.
Do you have any opinion starting out the gates on a neutral court site traveling versus at home?
No, usually you start at home if you're a program like ours. You know, last year we played in Hawaii. You know, we were at this time of year we were in Hawaii getting ready to play Michigan State, and it's quite a difference between last year and this year. But if an opportunity presents itself on the opening weekend of college basketball that doesn't have us here, then we'll take advantage of it. But for the most part, I think we all like to start off here in McHale and get used to our home crowd. And like I said, the other part of it is just keeping our guys in a good mindset, academically, practicing, you know, working hard to get better. You can sometimes get too far ahead of yourselves once the games begin, almost as if now it's game mode, so the only thing that matters is the games. Well, really the thing that matters is the most is we've only practiced 25 times. We've played no games that count, so we have an incredible opportunity to keep improving. And in our case, with so many new faces, like you witnessed maybe from the first exhibition game to the second, there can be a night and day dramatic difference in a lot of things we do as a group because of how young we are. And that's our focus. You know, the process, the task at hand, making sure we have a great week here.
I think this game was going to be last year initially, and then you moved it. I mean, I know you don't play them necessarily every year, but a lot of years. But was there a reason why you played in NAU tomorrow or Friday instead of last year? Was that?
I think it was their choice. We weren't able to work it out because of a scheduling conflict, but we would have played them last year, but we shifted it to this year.
And I don't know this early in the week if you've looked at them much. I know Jack has a bunch of JUCOs, grad transfers, et cetera. I don't know if you had a chance to look at kind of what he's got. It sounds like a new team.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hard part on a season opener. You don't really have a lot, but, you know, we'll do the best that we can of being the most ready, you know, that we can be.
Of the freshmen, who's most competitive?
We have a competitive group. I think all of them really. That's one of the strengths of that group. I think each one of them brings their own personality, but yet I think they both love the game, and they compete hard. You know, Ira Lee competes really hard. Alex Barcelo competes really hard. Emmanuel Acott. All 3 of those guys in the last game, man, I was really proud of their effort level and what they brought to the table defensively. And that's really where you start seeing the competitive fire, how hard they play on defense. You know, DeAndre is a great competitor, and Brandon is as well. Brandon didn't play in the last game, but, you know, all those guys, that's something that we love about them.
What are Ira's best attributes as a player?
You know, Ira has a motor that I think he got from his dad a long time ago. You know, him and his dad have really a special relationship. Dad being a former NFL player and guy who played college football at SC. You know, he, I think, gave Ira the love of sports, but really what he gave him was a work ethic. You know, he pushed him in a great way to really go for it, work hard, invest. Good things will happen. And Ira really brings that mindset every day to practice. And wherever he is as a player today, he'll be better in the future. And he made a couple jump shots, 17-footers in the last game, which I was happy to see because he can really do that, and he's worked very hard at his shooting. even before he came to Arizona, but since he's been here, he's always the last to leave the gym, or one of the last guys to leave the gym, one of the first guys to arrive. So, but I think mostly what he does is he brings a lot of energy, and he could check the box in a lot of areas. He rebounds at both ends. He defends, very athletic. When the game gets going fast, he can make tremendous plays on both sides of the ball. Does his job. You know, he's not a guy that hunts shots, needs to score. So he's a fun guy to have on your team and is a part of your program.
Do you see him more as the 3-4 or a 4-5?
Yeah, you know, it's hard to do that now. The game's changed so much. Ira's a wing player, a forward. And again, don't judge him on November of his freshman year. Just continue to judge him by who he is moving forward. 3 months from now, I think that he'll be a better overall basketball player than he is now, because he's not one-dimensional. He can do a lot of different things. It's his versatility, his motor, his work ethic, you know, his athleticism that really jumps out, and we see it every day.
When you recruited him, did he ever play small ball 5?
He might have, you know, both in travel team and with the high schools that he's played at. I think he did a lot of different things, similar to what you see on the court at Arizona. He can do a number of different things, but also play with a lot of combinations of players. And as he gets more experienced and, you know, just gets 1 foot on the ground, let alone 2, I think that, you know, the sky's the limit for him.
This may be a silly question considering your depth situation, but just because of the time of year, I was wondering, was it even a thought, or has it been a thought anybody might redshirt or anything this year?
No, I don't see anybody redshirting.
Collectively, what kind of progress has that freshman group made since they first arrived to now getting ready for their first game?
You know, I really think they've gotten better every day. They really have, from DeAndre all the way to Alex, you know, point guard to a front court player. All of them, like I said, they're all different. They have their own personalities, but they don't try to be anything that they're not. I think they get along really well together as a group. Off the court, as zero of a maintenance group as we've had. You know, they're where they're supposed to be. They do what they're supposed to do. That always adds to the maturity of the team when your younger players are like that. And they love the game. You know, you don't have to beg them to practice. They show up ready to go. And each one of them is willing to listen and learn. And I've said that from the first day they got here till now. And that's what's a lot of fun when you coach them. And, you know, it makes life easier for somebody like Alonzo and Parker, because when you're the leader, you can only lead those that want to be led. And I think that Alonzo and Parker, Doosan, you know, when they lead by example or when they lead by vocal leadership, you know, they have a group of guys that are willing to listen. So that's worked out well so far.
Coach, even with all that said, I've been asking people and just trying to get a sense of things around here. It feels like Final Four or bust is kind of the attitude. That can't be fair, can it?
You know, you can't judge yourself by the last game of your season. You know, it's like I've said, we've already practiced 25 times. We've practiced an additional 10 times. We've gone to Spain. We're just getting started, but yet, you know, we've been here. All of our players have been here for at least one summer session. So it's a long, long journey. It's a marathon. And, you know, Final Four or bust is kind of like, what did you do in that last game? You know, there's going to be hopefully 37 games we can judge ourselves by, right? So, you know, the overall record, start to finish, consistency, you know, how we perform in conference play. And clearly, you know, are we going to be at our best in March? You know, that's obviously always our goal. But we can't control anything beyond that. And, you know, right now, even as we approach game one, everybody's focused on that game one on Friday. This is a week where we have to, you know, continue to string together good practices and hopefully remain healthy and improve and work so that on Friday we're the most ready we can be. And I think as long as we can continue to keep our group on that task in hand, I do think we have a chance to be a good team.
Do you expect that Brandon for non-conference practice, non-contact practice this week, or what's his timetable?
You know, I hope so. I haven't talked to Justin Kokoski yet today, but I know that, you know, Brandon's making the slow, steady progress that you would expect, where, you know, he's really doing a good job with his diet, drinking a lot of water, resting. He's done nothing, and it's just a matter of the symptoms that he had last week, going away. And they don't always go away like all at once, a few each day, a few every couple of days. But we'll only put him back out there once he's completely cleared, and whenever that time is, and then we'll deal with it. And looking forward to getting him back there. I'm sure he is too. It's always difficult when you work as hard as these young players do, and here it is, you're getting ready for your season opener, and you're not able to practice. So I'm sure he's itching to get out there.
So you still probably up in the air this weekend, or do you think maybe Sunday at the earliest?
I don't know. I think there's a chance that he could play on Friday. There's certainly a chance that he wouldn't, but it all depend on where he goes from here. He's made good progress, and we're hopeful that he continues to make that same steady good progress.
What type of adjustment do you think it is for Dusan to play alongside someone like DeAndre, who's more on the low block, and someone like Lowry, who straight more on the perimeter?
Well, the good news is, Dusan's had the luxury of playing with a lot of different types of players in his time here. I mean, going all the way back to his freshman year, he would have been in the game with somebody like Brandon Ashley, who, Brandon's a forward who can do a lot of different things. He could step away from the basket. He could score close to the basket. And then, in Dusan's sophomore year, he played alongside both Ryan Anderson and Caleb. So he played with another 7-footer in Caleb, and clearly played a lot with Ryan Anderson. Then you go to last year, obviously played alongside both Chance and Lowry, two different players, but both guys 7 feet tall. So that gives you a couple years where you've done that, not only in games but every day in practice, playing against those guys and with them. And then, DeAndre's even different than those others because physically he's bigger and faster. But Dusan's had the luxury of playing alongside some other 7-footers in his time, so it's not really that different for him as a senior. But I think that their relationship will only grow, DeAndre and Dusan's, on the court, where they complement each other well. And, we're asking a lot of DeAndre defensively. It'd be easy just to play him at the 5, but I think the big picture, it's going to be great for his career down the line to be exposed man-to-man, where he has to guard so many different types of players at the 4. And we're asking him to do a lot, especially for a freshman. But he's up to task. We did the same thing with Lowry, and I like to think that in a lot of ways that prepared Lowry for where he's at now.
Where do you want to see Dusan improve the most?
Dusan's, he's a senior. He's been through a lot. He practices hard, works at it, loves the game. And, I want him to just have a great senior year, to enjoy this team, to enjoy his hard work paying off. We're always, I think, challenging him defensively because offense comes easier to him than defense. But, on the whole scope of things, if you look at his improvement from his first year till now, if you ever put in a game of his freshman year, it's almost amazing to look at him physically, who he was then and who he is now. So he's really improved.
You expect anybody to on tomorrow or during the signing period to sign, or possibly wait till the spring? Do you have any inclination or any knowledge of what might happen?
I don't, and I'm not able to comment really beyond that right now until we get through this week.
What do you think in general? I mean, do you think in general this class you'll be doing a lot next spring the way it's looking? Maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
How's this group compare to some of the other groups you had?
Team?
Yeah.
I think that this is the 9th team that I've been the head coach at here at Arizona, and I think it has the makings of being a very good team. We've been fortunate. We've had, if you judge a team maybe by the seed that we get in the NCAA tournament, I think we've had a 1 seed and a 2 seed 2 times. So that's about as good as it gets. So hopefully this is a group that can work towards becoming that. There's only 4 teams or 8 teams that get those types of seeds for the tournament, and it's not easy to make the tournament. It really isn't. I go back to a year ago when we were in Hawaii. We were there with Kansas, Michigan State, Indiana. Michigan State went through maybe more injuries in a given season than any team ever has. But they made the tournament, but it was a fist fight all the way from game one to the end. And, Indiana, they beat Kansas in that game. They went, I think, a week or two later, beat North Carolina. North Carolina won the national championship. Kansas was in the regional final against Oregon. And Indiana did not make the NCAA tournament. So things can really get off track and derailed. That's why it's so important that we have to take what's next on our plate, and that is today's practice and not get too far ahead of ourselves. But, clearly if we can continue to work, I think we have a chance to be a very good team.
Did you schedule the Friday, Saturday? Did you look to schedule that on purpose to have that 1-2 boom, boom right away?
No, I think it was more a function of just timing of what worked for us and the team. I think being able to get maybe 3 games in instead of 2 prior to going to the Bahamas is something we set out to do. So because of that, this is the order that they're coming in.
Coach, how do you function with the investigation and all hanging over your head?
Just doing the best that we can, just trying to have the best season that we can have.
Alonzo named preseason All-American. Hasn't been done in 15 years. I mean, what does that say to you as a coach, considering all the great players that have been through here?
It hasn't. What hasn't been done?
No. Preseason All-American, AP preseason All-American.
Yeah, no, I think that Alonzo is well deserving. His body of work as a player, starting really when he was a high school senior, McDonald's All-American, somebody I think who was the MVP of the Jordan Brand game, multiple gold medal winner. And you forget that he, as a freshman, was on the all-freshman team, yet missed almost half the regular season of the Pac-12, which I think is a real testament to his ability and impact that year. Last year, he missed quite a bit, but when he got back, he was the MVP of the Pac-12 tournament, again, a first-team all-conference player, and finished really strong. So we have our fingers crossed that he can be with us the entire season this year. And I don't know if there's anyone who plays the game better at his position than him, really. When you consider not just his ability to score, but I think his development into an efficient player and a better defensive player and more of a leader, more of even a great teammate. So all of those things allow you to be an All-American. And, preseason is one thing. My hope is that we can talk about it at the end of the year where, he can be an All-American at the end of the season. So, but clearly he's one of the best that plays the game right now in college basketball.
Coach, anything new you'd like to add about the investigation? I know you've spoken about it in the past. Anything
No.
new?
How's Archie doing? Is he getting ready for his season opener with Indiana?
Yeah, I wish him luck. I haven't talked to him a whole lot. He's been busy, and but I think he's obviously at a tremendous place, and he'll do a great job for a long time.
Did you expect Larry Martin to be as successful as quickly as he was in the NBA?
I really did, because he has the gift of being able to really shoot the ball. He's as good of a shooter as we've had, and not for a big man, but just whether you're 6 foot or 7 foot. If you just rank him of his ability to shoot, he's right up there at the top, maybe the best that we've had. So considering that he's 7 feet tall with his work ethic, his professionalism, how he handles himself, how he handled himself here, he has an incredibly bright future. We all know that. But the other thing is, the game is different. It's a 24-second shot clock. It's 82 games. You don't face zone defenses. He's up and down. It's 4 quarters, 48 minutes, and the court is much more spread out. The help side rules, the lane being bigger, and playing with 4 other players out there that, in their own way, can really score. All that just gives him a lot more of an open court. And somebody like him, if you put him in that position, he's going to make you pay. So I think that FIBA in the NBA style is even better suited for Lowry than college was. And but his work ethic, he's only going to add to what he does because, again, he's an incredibly hard worker, tremendous person. And as a freshman, he approached things here almost as if he was a senior. I've said it time and time again, but that has a lot to do with their success when they leave here because he's going to be on time. He's going to be to the gym early. He's going to listen and learn. And I'm sure that the Bulls feel really good about him. I know they do.
That's interesting you mentioned the help side rules. I was just curious, if you ran a pack line in the NBA, would it have to be modified? And,
Yes, I believe so.
and for better or worse, would it be tougher?
Yeah, I mean, the help side rules are different. First of all, the size of the court, the lane, and just the three-point line, size of the players, all that's different. I think it's almost a completely different game. Favors offense much more. And, you know, it's hard enough to get these guys to lock in and play defense in 37 games. Imagine playing 82 games and, you know, you're in your 10th year. So not that they don't play defense, but, you know, clearly I think it's a faster, more fluid offensive game in the NBA.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Coach, thank you.